We'll call the meeting to order now. It's 12:30, and
I'll come down and join y'all.
Yeah, good. I feel a little sure having you down there. I don't know. So we'll call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the review and approval of the minutes. Walt, what do you have for us?
I have minutes.
All right.
Everybody had a chance to look at them, peruse them, corrections or additions, tirades or tantrums.
Got plenty of those. Okay.
If not, then.
All right. Any additions or corrections? All right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Okay. Moved. Second. Moved and seconded that we approve the minutes. Question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. The treasurer's report. Okay, Sarah.
Good afternoon. This is the finance report as of May 31st. Our membership is up about 35,000, which is great. Actual is running much exactly the same. Printing is down. Travel is down significantly. That's due to our travel halt. And then premiums and promotional is down, and that's because when Christy was here, she was doing a lot more with that. And everything else is roughly in the same ballpark. Do you have any questions on that side of it? Okay, and then there's the listing of the Friends 10% expenditures for the year, and it's just like giving a rundown of everything. Is there any questions on any of those expenses?
As they pointed out, we don't have any 10% right now in these uncertain times. So,
Can you give them a timeline for audit?
Friends audit will be the week of July 21st. Richmond and Company again, and then our other audit begins August.
Other audit.
Yeah, that's what I
For the EBC.
Yeah, EBC and Foundation.
And then we
Yeah,
combine.
the Friends is July 21st. Gotcha.
Then we combine for the report we do.
thank you. Is a motion to receive the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries as well. Next, the chairperson's report. I don't think we have new board members that are going to be announced today, and I'll let in the next phase of this. Then as far as we didn't have an executive committee meeting again because we didn't have 10% requests this time. So the other thing that's left is a
Board resolution.
See, I'm trying to find that thing.
I have it.
Okay, great. Will you make the proposed resolution?
So the resolution is for us to participate in the neighborhood investment program, and that is where we give tax credits for people who make donations, and then we're able to use the award that we receive to do specific projects, and it always supports anything that the education department is doing. And this past year, we were able to use that money to do a celebration in Boone County for the Daniel Tigers Little Learners Program, which I'll talk about in the executive director report. So I will read the resolution. The Friends of West Virginia Public Broadcasting Incorporated met on June 11, 2025, and with a quorum present, passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Friends of West Virginia Public Broadcasting Incorporated hereby authorizes Kathleen Brady, membership manager, to apply for Neighborhood Investment Program tax credits for program and outreach services on behalf of the Friends of West Virginia Public Broadcasting Incorporated. Be it also resolved that the Friends of West Virginia Public Broadcasting Incorporated hereby authorizes Kathleen Brady, membership manager, to act on its behalf to enter into an agreement with the West Virginia Development Office to receive and administer tax credits pursuant to the provisions of the Neighborhood Investment Program.
All right. Any questions about that? Anything to ask Eddie about?
What are the donations that will?
when people make a one-time donation, and we always ask before the end of the tax year, they get a tax credit, like 50% for their taxes, and then we get money from this to help us do education and outreach programs. It's separate from like any sustaining membership. Yes, it's a very specific one-time donation, and around November, December, we start, pushing it, letting people know about it. Marilyn,
Is it a certain amount?
Yes, and I'll just answer this question. You must make a contribution of $500 or more. It can't be part of a monthly thing. And also, it's specifically for the project that we define in the grant, and I believe it will be Daniel Tiger.
It'll be Daniel Tiger.
Little Learners. In fact, we got $28,000 in tax credits last year for the program, which was an unbelievably high amount. I don't know that we'll get it again this year, but if you are interested, you must get on the list. So if you wait till November, and if we only get $10,000 in tax credits, your opportunity is gone. You have to be on the list. I'm already on the list. I'm just saying. So make sure you do it for whatever you think you might want to make in your donation. And I'll also say this. If you find you can't make that donation, you won't be required to. There'll already be some last-minute person who will want to take it. So, as you all know. But anyway, Kathleen will be handling it.
Anything else on that?
That's it.
Okay.
And I'll get you to sign it before you leave.
Okay, great. And so we've already approved. I'm sorry, I'm at a senior moment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
You have not approved.
We have not. That's what I was thinking. Okay, good. Okay, so we have that proposed resolution. Does anybody move that we endorse that proposed resolution? Okay.
So moved.
Yes. Oh, great. Okay, and
I heard Scott first.
and Deborah Hammond seconded. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it moving. Okay, great. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, that passes as well. Next, we have the committee reports and the nominating committee. Rita?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our committee right here is huddled together. We're a little tight group here with Scott Weiner and Walt Warren and Sarah Hofstra. And I have can announce the results of the election to the board. I'll just quickly read the names because you'll meet them at the next meeting and they can introduce themselves. But Joseph Bennett from Buchanan and Shane Pierce from Beckley, and we want to welcome Mark Sundstrom back. He was reelected from Charleston. Jeffrey Wakefield, and I'm glad to know that Bonnie Brown was reelected. Huntington, Barry Harrison, and David Leasing was reelected. We had someone who had nominated themselves from Martinsburg, but unfortunately he had not renewed his membership. It's been lapsed for a few years, so he's not eligible to run for election. John Radcliffe from Parkersburg, and from Wheeling, Peter Staffel was reelected. We had a lot of people in Charleston who were interested in serving on the board, and so the committee is recommending some people for our at-large seats. So the election results you do not need to approve, but the at-large directors do need your approval. So I'll quickly tell you about them. Gail Jennings is a tax accountant and a volunteer with the Humane Society and Man a Meal. And it was interesting, she had volunteered her age of 31, and I thought, oh, we've got a young person here. And she also mentioned, as we've often experienced, the really, her driveway moments for the public radio. So it's very meaningful to her. Ariana Kincaid, who's a senior assistant prosecuting attorney in Kanawha County, and she's on the board of the Celtic Calling Festival, and she was an on-air announcer for public radio here for a number of years. Gail Pitchford, who's retired, she's the former president of the Charleston Area Medical Center Foundation. And Valerie Ellis, who's a real estate agent. She had previously worked in banking and insurance. Her husband, you know, and I'm not sure, Gary Ellis, who was ill for quite a few years, but he served on the EDA for many years. So she's been connected with public broadcasting for quite some time. So those are 4 people that we would present to the board for approval for at-large members, all of whom are from Charleston.
And that's all 4 you're recommending.
So
Yeah,
I would move
All right.
that they be accepted.
Okay.
Second.
Moved and seconded then. Any discussion on this names? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Or any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you. We've got new board members.
And I want to say, because we've talked about this before the next meeting, we will have a packet for them, and we'll get it to everybody, actually, because people need a refresher, and we will set up some kind of orientation with them before the next board meeting.
Yes, thank you, because, I know Elliot had put it on his calendar
Yeah.
that we hope to have that, but we plan on having an orientation at 10:30 on September 10th, the day of the board meeting, so then we'll have orientation for new people or anybody who wants to join us, and then lunch, and then go into the meeting. Yeah, I know that, appreciate the fact that you all are aware of how important that is, and they need their material in advance.
Rita, since I was reelected, do I need to come to the orientation? I mean, I've been on the board for as long as anybody, I think.
Oh, it's not necessary, but everybody's
But
welcome.
Yeah, well, I will try, but you know, that means we're leaving Bethany at at sunrise or something like that. So we're planning on coming down to Charleston for the regular meeting anyway. So is that okay?
Pete, we will be able to set up for the people who can't be here like this, so you can join virtually if you would want to.
Okay, well, I'll be in touch about that because I think we're planning on actually being there next time.
Okay.
You know, in live and in color. So.
It'll be good to see you again. Yeah, good to see you again.
I have notified the folks who were elected and copied Kathleen Brady, and so now with the approval of these at-large folks, then I'll let them know. And then our nominating committee has a meeting scheduled soon to develop a slate for new officers. So I encourage anybody who's interested in serving as an officer to please let any of the committee members know, and because we just welcome everybody's involvement to the degree that they're comfortable and feel like they have a particular skill to offer. And that just anybody else on the committee want to add?
Just a great thing about new officers is we have a year warm-up time. One of the things we mentioned a while ago is that all of the officers will also be leaving the board after this, as I understand it. Is that right? Was that what yeah. So, yeah,
Right.
yeah, so that's pretty,
All officers
so I wonder, at least they're up for,
available.
I guess we're termed out of the offices. Maybe
Our
that's
terms
it.
are
That is, yeah, the terms of the offices. Yeah, yeah.
Right,
So
2
that's it.
1
So we
year
won't have any repeat officers apparently, right? Is that the way that is?
Mhm.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Okay, good.
I would point out, I think it's 30. We will now have 30 directors. Is that correct? Put that at the bottom of that sheet. There will be,
Elected, yes, we have 30 directors.
we will have 30 directors. With enough seats available that we could have 40. If any open seats were filled, we could have up to 40. And currently, we're at 24, so it's an increase in the number on the board.
When does the election need to be, or the decision about the officers?
we'll present the slate at the next board meeting in September.
And then we'll vote then about that.
Yes.
And will they take office immediately?
Yes.
Elliot will open the meeting,
Yeah.
and then we present slate, and then they would take over.
Very formal.
Right.
That's what they
Very
did to
formal.
you, right?
Right, exactly. Here, go sit up there. Good. Imagine.
We'll have your crown.
Let me
We'll see what it, yeah, we'll see what it's
You'll
like
have to
at the
turn
time.
the crown.
Yeah, right. And the money, the paycheck.
Oh.
Okay. Are there other committees that need, that are available to make a report? Okay, hearing none, then the staff report. Eddie, will you give that to us, please?
Sure. Thank you all for being here today. I want to start with the federal funding, and in particular, something that's happening right now, today and tomorrow. And I'll try to explain, you know, what this means. So, a rescission package was presented to Congress asking them to take back money that has already been promised for public media that we are to receive on October 1st. Okay, it has to go through both the House and the Senate before they're able to take the money back. The Rules Committee of the House met yesterday. It's moving into a procedural vote today, this afternoon. I think it's at 4:15, and then it's expected to go to the full House tomorrow. After that, it would go to the Senate. There is a 45-day period in which this must pass Congress, and otherwise it dies. And that date would be July 18th. So the best way to keep up with what's going on with federal funding, and to find out what you can do to help, is to go to a website called protectmypublicmedia.org and sign up. And Rita has done it. Do you want to talk a little bit about protectmypublicmedia.org?
Well, only to say that when I went there the other day, they make it very, very easy for you. They provide some background information, a suggested script, which just helps you make your message more concise, particularly if you're calling someone like Senator or Justice's office, and all you ever get is voicemail. Other times you get a real person, but you still feel you want to be very concise. So they already have the numbers set up and connect you. It's very well organized, and I was telling Eddie, I don't know how many people were aware of it. That leads me also to the question, which maybe is not the time to talk about it, but to what degree we can even be, once we are informed with that, more of an advocacy group, because part of our mission is to advocate on behalf of public broadcasting in addition to our fiduciary responsibilities. So it's just it's very critical right now, and for now at least, we all need to go to call our legislators, our Congress people about this, because our fiscal year is October 1.
October 1, yeah, is the federal fiscal year.
So that money could be,
Yeah, it could be taken back. And I want to talk about how important federal funding is for us, because we get federal funding, we get state funding. The Friends help us raise money from the public. We get grants. And West Virginia Public Broadcasting, as we are now, cannot function without all of those funding sources. It's vitally important. Sarah, correct me, we received around 1.5 million this year, 1.6 from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. And how that works is Congress, they will make an appropriation to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and then local stations apply for grants. Those grants are based on money that we raise ourselves. They expect us to raise money, and then because we serve the rural population of West Virginia, we get a little bit more than other stations wouldn't get. And so because of this formula, I mean, the amount of federal funding fluctuates, each year that we're awarded something. When the Public Broadcasting Act was instituted, Congress was, they made sure that public media was forward funded by 2 years. So so that's very important. And this is the 2-year forward funding that we've already been promised that we're talking about now. I mean, there's the budget process that's going around as well, which is 2 fiscal years from now. So there's a lot of things happening on the federal level when it comes to federal funding of public broadcasting, but the most immediate is the rescission package that is in the House at this moment. So I wanted everybody to be aware of that a vote is expected by tomorrow, and then it'll go to the Senate.
45 days is going to this. I mean, that seems like an easy target to me. Is there a lot in there that they can be bargaining about?
So there were some amendments suggested yesterday in Rules Committee that were denied. So the package goes as is for vote.
The package is not just us.
Correct. It's not just us, but we're included in it.
Can you tell the name of that website again?
Protectmypublicmedia.org.
Publicmedia.org.
And like I said, all funding sources are important for us, and I'm going to tell you why, because I'm going to talk about a lot of the great things we've done since we last met, and I'm going to start with education. You can see on the board table all of these resources that our education department was able to use and to give the children of Boone County who were part of our Daniel Tiger's Little Learners program. We had 240 students enrolled this year. Last year we had a pilot project thanks to a generous grant. We were able to expand it to the entire county this year and serve 240 kids. And they received all of these books. We had over 4,000 books that we were able to distribute to kids. And thanks to the Neighborhood Investment Program, we had like 150 kids who came to a really special celebration, kind of like their graduation of the program at the Madison Civic Center. We had Daniel Tiger there, and it was extremely well attended. And thanks to our grant, we're going to be able to expand this into 3 more counties this coming year, and that's Kanawha, Lincoln, and Clay County. So it's a very important project that we're doing, and it shows how we are not just a radio and TV station. We do more than air programs on radio and TV. We become a part of the community, and we make a difference. And the Daniel Tiger Little Learners program, they take curriculum from the Fred Rogers Company, if y'all remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and teach kids these valuable social skills, please, thank you, and how to manage your anger and things like that. But we also added this literacy aspect to it as well. And one of the teachers said they saw a dramatic improvement in literacy for the students that were involved with it. So we're really thankful that we're going to be able to continue to expand this and use, proven curriculum through PBS Kids and bring it into our neighborhoods for people to use.
Question. How are those additional counties chosen?
So our grant is through the Greater Kanawha Valley Foundation, and they serve a particular area of West Virginia.
Oh, it's like Wyoming County.
Right.
That's downtown.
Right. And, there's always the dream of it becoming a statewide program in some way. The Writers Contest, another literacy thing that we do with kids, we had 122 submissions this year, and we have 18 winners. And on Saturday at the Culture Center, we're going to have our celebration with those winners, give them a nice little recognition, a little party for them. Our video production department has animated a few of the stories for us to watch using the children's own illustrations, and the children voiced the stories themselves, and that's really cool. And we will be pushing that over social media. You'll see, on broadcast during PBS Kids breaks and stuff like that. But I wanted to share a quote that one of the teachers had for us for the Writers Contest. She said, "The WVPB's Writers Contest was a wonderful opportunity for my kindergartners to express their creativity and build their confidence as writers. They loved the chance to share their stories. It was such a positive experience for them, and it really sparked their imaginations." So again, it shows we don't just put shows on TV. We do work that really matters in the community. And our education department, they're busy throughout the year with things like social studies fairs, presenting at conferences in the state, talking to teachers, librarians. We were at the festival, Children's Art Fair, recently. We had 100 to 200 kids and families come by, and they created tote bags with Sesame Street characters or whatever they wanted on there, to express their artistic endeavors. And a great thing that Autumn and the education department started to do this year is we're working with the Mountaineer Food Bank and their Extra Mile program, and we plan to distribute over 600 bags with educational items to go in those food things that they give to families, because we realize when families are struggling and they have to use all of their money for food and to clothe the kids, they can't buy books. Books are expensive. And thanks to you all, the Friends helped us pay for that to make this, again, to be a part of the community and to give back to the people that we serve. And there's lots of stuff going on with education. And another big thing that's coming up on September 13th is Be My Neighbor Day. We're going to have it here in Charleston. We're going to talk about what it means to be a good neighbor. And we're going to bring Daniel Tiger in. So Daniel's going to be here to meet kids. And we're going to have service organizations who are going to have, displays, booths, organizations that help others to be a good neighbor will be there with us. And we have, how many people have signed up, Autumn? 14 vendors right now. So we're really excited about that coming up.
That's what Be My Neighbor Day.
Be My Neighbor Day.
Where's that?
It'll be at Slack Plaza here in Charleston. So Mountain Stage, still going strong. 7 shows were taped March, April, May since we last met. First trip they ever made was to Rochester, New York. They had 1,400 people in attendance. We taped 5 shows in 7 weeks. And they were also, the Mountain Stage folks were also involved with the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. In FY25, we've been able to welcome 4,227 people to the Mountain Stage at the Culture Center here in Charleston. We're finishing up. We have a show this Sunday and another one the following Sunday. And our ticket revenue has been over $101,000 at these concerts, these tapings at the Culture Center. And it's important to note that when we tape, it's great that we tape this show here in West Virginia. It's broadcast all over the United States, thanks to NPR distributing it, which is part of that national-local partnership that's so vitally important. We're able to, bring West Virginia basically to the world, and people come from all over to West Virginia to see a taping. And when they're here, we have an economic impact. They stay at our hotels, they eat at our restaurants. When they're at the Culture Center before the show starts, they look at the art that's on display, and they can look at the historical things that we have in there to learn about West Virginia. So Mountain Stage again is beyond being a radio show. It's really that's a really important program for us. We have 7 shows coming up. Later on, August 24th, we're going to be in Clarksburg, so we like to travel around the state too. We have 2 shows in Morgantown, September, October, and we're going to have a show in Marietta, Ohio, in November. We have 272 stations carrying Mountain Stage. It's up 17% from just 5 years ago. And we're estimating 181,000 people listen each week to Mountain Stage on the radio. And that's not including our live stream that we do or downloads of podcasts. We're talking about live radio broadcasts on stations throughout.
Can I ask a question about just how it all fits? The shows on the road compared to the shows in the Culture Center?
Yeah.
Is the economy very different in the maintaining, pitching into what Mountain Stage does? Cost-wise. How's the movement going out on the road compared to here?
Right. So when we go on the road, the venue that accepts us is in charge of ticket sales, et cetera, et cetera. We just go there to record the show. And we usually have more people in attendance because, unlike here in Charleston, it's their one opportunity to come. So usually we have a huge attendance. And so and it also exposes us to the people in those areas that are listening that's not going to be able to travel here. So, you know, the road shows are just as important as us, our tapings here in Charleston.
And one thing you said that at the what do they call these? Educational broadcast, whoever they are.
Yeah,
right now, at the meeting we had last week, it was interesting, and I was going to kind of raise that too. Apparently, you know what, they keep their ticket sales when
Yes.
they do that,
Right.
but they pay us a certain amount of money that we've determined, and you know, we get the
Right.
contract price.
Yeah,
right?
it's just like
So that's
us
a little
paying
different.
an artist to come. They're paying us to bring the show there, but they take care of their own ticket sales.
Mhm.
So we don't get any revenue from their ticket sales. We only get revenue from the ticket sales here in Charleston.
Mhm.
But I want to point out that the point of Mountain Stage is not to make a profit. We're nonprofit. It's to serve the community, you know, to discover new music, to showcase
Well, I'm
West
all
Virginia.
for, it's just
Yeah.
that we may be more narrow-minded in what we can do
Right.
in general, and just considering all the options or ideas.
Well, and I remember Adam talking about this, that they're under contract to do so many
Yes.
shows
We have to
in
produce
town and
yeah.
so many.
Well, we have to produce so many shows for NPR. They don't necessarily have to be in town or out of town.
Right.
We just have a number of shows that we must, and I can't remember off the top of my head what number that is, but it's a weekly
I think
show.
it was 26.
So it's a weekly show, so you can think of.
There's 26 shows. The number of shows.
I don't really.
That would be a question.
Yeah.
I can recall that from, you know.
Yeah, but
TV.
you know, because it's a weekly show, you know, must continue throughout the year, every week, and you know, of course, we do certain number of encores as well.
There was maybe that's what they were piecing together additional shows because they hadn't had enough shows to meet the contract.
Right, and that was probably back in COVID.
Yeah. I remember them too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to transition to the digital world because that is the future of distribution of all media, not just public media. And just to let you all know that, you know, we continue to develop our online presence, our streaming presence. Since we last met, our podcasts, our radio podcasts, you can now hear them on YouTube Music, which is, I think it's the largest podcast platform out there. Is that correct, Liz?
It has gained quite a following.
Yeah, and that's relatively new for us to add that. You know, we're already on Apple Music, Spotify, all the big ones, and this is an addition to it's going to increase our audience on the podcast side. We've been making improvements and using our own WVPB app more to utilize, you know, the things that it can do. And, so, you know, we've learned we can push notifications on things. You know, it's not just the news coverage, but things like ticket sales for Mountain Stage, you know, to help us do that. And it's like the engagement is up on that, and you probably have heard online campaigns encouraging people to use that. You can watch TV shows on there. I don't watch TV on my phone, but you can if you want to. So anything that we do, you can find it on this app, including news coverage. Our website engagement is up 45% this past quarter. Our website is, and we won an award for our best website. Was it second place, Liz?
It was second place. We're going for first next year.
At the AP of the Virginias Awards, which is all stations, commercial and public media in both Virginias. So, I mean, that's really great to see. And most of the comments are things like it's ease of use, you know, because we're not commercial, it's not filled with advertisements all over the place, you know, so it's really easier to find stuff than on a commercial station. Our video production department, you know, they've been very busy doing the legislature today, and thanks to your all generous support, you know, we were able to use those high school and college students to help produce some of the segments for that. They learned about civics as well as journalism. So we had the two high school students that did reports, but we also work with Marshall University because Randy Owie we have an office over there now. So he worked with some of the video production students over there to put together some packages with him that we used on the legislature today this year.
Something we can remind
Yes.
our congressman and want a new
Right.
killer.
Again, it shows how we go outside of just putting on shows. I mean, we're educating the up and coming video producers and journalists of tomorrow. Again, they produced the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. You know, it talks about the culture of West Virginia. Culture's an important part of our programming here. We've done the Academic Showdown, the History Bowl, Arts Alive, all education related with the Department of Education. You know, we live streamed and broadcast on the West Virginia channel, the Vandalia concert. And speaking of the West Virginia channel, for those of you who use the Passport, the PBS app, and log in as our Passport, you will see that we live stream our main broadcast and PBS Kids. We are in the final stages of adding the West Virginia channel there as well, so that you can watch all three of the live streams using that app. So, you know, people who rely on this broadcast cable can get all of our content now, probably within the next month, through the PBS app, which is really an important thing, because we have a lot of these things that we talked about that we broadcast on the West Virginia channel that don't necessarily make our main broadcast for people to see. Our video production department, they've won 17 awards this past year for productions like The Last Train to Glen Alum, Grappalachia, Dark Folklore, Hey Cartooners, and they're finishing up some more episodes of Almost Heavens. And this is a program that we are producing with the Clay Center. They're astrophysicists that looks at the skies above West Virginia, what to look for in the stars and stuff. And it's very specific to the West Virginia area. And those are small segments. You can find them on Passport. You can find them on our YouTube page. We use them in some of the breaks if we want to do some filler material. Eric's been using the audio for West Virginia Morning as well. So it's been getting a lot of views and listens, and it's, you know, similar to Stardate, but its focuses here on West Virginia. In the programming department, the biggest addition was Xander. He added This Whole House Hour to radio, Saturdays at 11, is a new offering they came out with. We've, of course, been broadcasting This Whole House Hour on television forever, but they've started doing a radio program, so we wanted to kind of add it to the schedule, Saturdays at 11 o'clock, just to see how people, you know, react to it. We really haven't had any complaints about any schedule changes or anything, so that's a good sign. And of course, when we get numbers and stuff, we'll have a better understanding of, you know, how people are engaging with that program. But it's like Xander wanted to do it Saturdays at 11 because he felt that's when the people are going to Lowe's to pick up their home improvement stuff. So,
Not bad.
That's true, yeah, that's true.
Do you follow how well each program is noticed, used, I guess?
Yeah, we
whatever
get ratings. We do get ratings.
Do the weekend programs have a higher usage than weekday programs?
Not necessarily. The highest rated programs are of course, the news magazines, Morning Edition, West Virginia Morning, what we do, and all things considered. And then there's an ebb and flow throughout the afternoon.
And the day.
Yeah, throughout the day and throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
It all depends on when people are listening and why. Our local classical has a high following. Yeah.
Our talk would have a lot of.
Yeah.
That was a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody was.
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of popular programs on the weekends, but it's a long day, so people come in and out, and people have their favorites that they listen to. And engineering and IT, the Martinsburg TV transmitter was off for a while for an extended outage because we were working with Siren, the statewide inoperable radio network, and we're looking at putting fiber in now, so in case something were to come up again, we won't lose our broadcast as long as we did. Martinsburg TV, that's for over-the-air customers.
Okay, wait a moment. We shared the shower?
Shared the shower. What are you talking about? Oh, the tower. Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Brian, comment on that?
We do our personal hygiene.
And just so y'all know, it's that time of year. Brian's working on some of our leases with some with some, wireless and internet companies, who share tower space with us. And we get some revenue, from them, and they rent space from us on those towers. Yeah.
I need to read this more.
I don't read it because I have it up here in my head. I'm like, so our journalism department, they have been very successful in their awards this year. 15 first and second place awards at the Virginians of the AP Broadcasters, which was what I was talking about. It's both commercial and public media in both Virginias, West Virginia, Virginia. 13 separate categories: best podcast, best spot news, best documentary, best feature, which was about the Bigfoot Festival, best multi-platform storytelling, which was first and second place, and best mountain stage heritage, which was first and second place, because no one can do mountain stage heritage like West Virginia Public Broadcasting. There were a lot more. Those were just some of the highlights. Us and Them, our podcast and radio show, 2 regional Murrow Awards, now go on to the national competitions. And we were finalists in 4 categories in Public Media Journalism Association Awards, and we are hearing from the 26th of June. Randy Yowie, he received a fellowship from the National Press Foundation. And I also want to talk about our news staff. We're down by some reporters, but they continue to do what they're supposed to do. They know what they're supposed to do. And as you all know, West Virginia Public Broadcasting is not known for spot news. But when things come up that are important, with the statewide interest, they do it, whether it be after hours on the weekends. And so last night, when we first started getting word about Doug Scaff, they went to work immediately verifying stuff so that we could have that story out there for the public to let them know about it. And I do appreciate their work last night. Understaffed, still doing their job. So that's very important. I want to talk about membership right now. Our March fundraising campaigns, we raised $42,500. We're in finishing up a TV campaign now. We're going to do an end of the year thing. We gained 71 new members and renewed 49 in our radio campaign and in TV. At that time, 54 new members and 27 renewed. So over this fiscal year, we've had 1,365 new members added to West Virginia Public Broadcasting. And I want to bring your all's attention to a screening that we're having. There's a flyer here on next Tuesday at the UC Downtown Innovation Hub. We're going to do a screening of Caregiving. This is a new documentary series produced by Bradley Cooper. You can find information on our website. We're going to have a little discussion. Taking care of our family is something that did a series on radio about his own taking care of his mother. So we're going to talk about that, and that this documentary series is produced through WETA. We were able to do this screening through a generous grant from them. It talks about our struggles, the people's struggles, and how they're dealing with caring for their elderly. And West Virginia has an elderly population, and so we've already had, America's not in here, I can't remember how many have already signed up, but we have limited seating and a lot of the seats are going fast. So if anybody would like to attend, go to our website and reserve a space to be there. We're going to have a panel discussion. Trey Kay will be hosting that screening. And
the promos.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. And I want to end by making Marilyn stand up. So she's really going to do it this time off. Okay. June 30th, Marilyn will retire. She has been at West Virginia Public Broadcasting since 1988.
August 1st, you mean?
August 1st. What?
Well, I just want to thank all of you all. It's been a wonderful opportunity, really. And I never thought I would stay long, because my husband gave me the edict that if I wanted to send our children to Catholic school, that I would need to go to work and earn that and make the tuition. And had been working here really since March of '88, as a contractor. And, then they interviewed me in May and said, well, you've got the job. And so I was not realizing in the least of how the state works and their timelines with anything. There was all this coverage in the paper about how they were going to change the retirement system. And I looked at that and I thought, oh, that's not me, because they told me the job was mine in May. And at that time, there was nothing that was done from April until August. You know, they weren't computerized. It was all, we had stacks of paper lined up down the hallway, the transmittal tickets. I mean, it was just a totally different day. And so then when I read in the paper they had changed it, and I was told my date was August 1st, I told my husband, I just want the job for now. I'll never stay. So, anyway, famous last words, but it has been real. I've always appreciated the spirit and the intention of the Friends. But I have spoken my mind, as you know, and Rita knows, and everybody else, when I feel, and Warren, when I feel like you were going down a track that would lead to maybe problems. So I always had your best intent at heart, but there was a role that everyone had to play, and you were a big part of it, but there was also, you know, the other places. But I could never thank you enough. I could never tell you how much all of it has meant to me and my family. So, but thank you.
Thank you.
Back at you.
And the institutional memory that you bring to this has been part of the spine of this organization. And, you know, can't be anything but that.
Well, I appreciate that, but a lot of times people don't want me to remember.
Oh, I know.
That was yesterday.
Yeah, right. Let's forget it. We'll go.
Well, I'm trying to remember yesterday.
Yeah, that's that
Well,
about it.
some of you do, but you know what, it's time to go forward, and I will be just thinking about you all in so many ways.
It's about worry. Yeah, without worrying about it. You're good.
Come back for lunch when we're able to
There you go.
put out a
I
big
actually
spread.
had one.
Well, I told Eddie today that it's because he's a skinny person, that he is, you know, it's like, well, okay, lunch, you know, but, you know, and I've got these in my family when I'll say, well, when did you eat last? It was yesterday at lunch. You know, I mean, I go from my one meal to the next and try to stop, you know, in there. But Eddie is, he's not that way, and I've told him so.
All right, great. All right, well, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. Eddie, have anything else?
I do not. That's the end of my report.
Okay, great. Okay, I've got an agenda here somewhere. Are there any other matters that we have to take up?
Yes. This is Harold Branham, online here, and I'm thinking about, in case the funding is not approved by first the federal government and then the state, how we're going to make up for this, and other ways to increase revenue. I think that probably right now, public broadcasting is getting a lot of publicity, controversy. Is there any indication of that you can measure in your own membership drives and fundraising?
So Harold, I want to reiterate what I said at the beginning. All sources of funding are important, and our federal funding is vitally important for us. And I don't feel you can replace that much federal funding with fundraising here in West Virginia. I mean, I'm just going to say it. Having said that, I do have regular meetings with people at NPR and PBS, but they have not made any kind of plans on what to do without the federal funding because we need the federal funding. And before we can make plans here, I mean, it's hard to plan for unknowns at this time. Currently, the message is we need our federal funding. That's our current message.
Eddie, can you remind us what percent the federal funding is of our budget?
About 18%.
18%?
Yeah.
19% I got.
So again, what we do here in West Virginia will have to depend on what our national organizations decide to do on their end as well. Until it's just all unknown right now. The national-local partnership is so important. It's how we function. Without NPR, we don't distribute Mountain Stage across the United States. Without PBS Kids, we don't have the Daniel Tiger Little Learners program in Boone County and beyond. We don't exist without each other. We just don't.
Can you, Eddie, to that point, because I'm trying to remember, there are separate lawsuits, NPR and the
Right.
Colorado Public Radio stations have filed suit, and PBS has filed a
Correct.
separate suit, and that has to do with
The executive order.
the executive
the
order
president's
of getting rid of
Right.
public broadcasting.
Yeah. So like I said, there are several things happening on the federal side right now. They're all different. They all have different outcomes that are similar. But the most immediate thing that's happening is the rescission vote in Congress.
How's the state funding? Is it stable?
Yeah, we're okay.
We're okay in
We're
state.
okay.
Good.
I'm sorry, my question was, do we see any show of support being increased by what's going on right now? I mean, this could stir people to want to support us more, since we obviously need stability.
Harold, our fundraising's been steady. We haven't lost any members. It's been really steady right now.
Have we gained members in light of the threat?
So this is the thing: when people contribute, they don't necessarily tell you why.
Right.
So like I said, we get contributions every day. The reasons don't necessarily. The reasons always they support who we are and what we do. I mean, that's always the reason. But to answer your question, our message is not give us money in place of, because we can't replace it. The message now is we need our federal funding. That's the most important thing that we're talking about right now.
All right, is there anything else? Any other questions?
On another matter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm an opera lover here,
Uh-huh.
and the opera is not well attended. It's a fabulous thing we're doing, but it's not well attended. Maybe not many people are opera lovers, but I think there are more people who would attend if we had some more publicity.
Okay.
It's just, people don't seem to know about it. It's never in the paper. I get direct mailings, but
Right.
more publicity for the opera would
Okay.
just be a great thing to do.
Okay, that's something we can certainly look into.
The difficulty for the Northern Panhandle is that they were showing them in Morgantown. The Morgantown theater's closed.
Right.
And
Yeah, it's
so
really dependent on the theater.
I go to Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, and the staffels go to Robinson Township, right, to see the
Yes.
opera. And
Yes.
that's closer to them, and Bridgeville's closer to me. I'd go to Morgantown if they had them, but
Well, you think Morgantown would be there'd be a lot of people who would want to opera there.
there have been some good houses, good audience numbers in Bridgeville, but
Really? We have a
Anyway,
wonderful
Virginia.
venue here in Charleston.
yeah,
Crowd,
yeah,
in Byron, who was a
Right.
professor at WVU, who taught classes in opera, would take care of that and present the, playbills. But,
and give us free tickets.
yeah, give it free tickets,
Yeah.
but that theater went belly up, and I guess the two theaters you all are speaking of have a absorb the overflow.
Mhm. I think they've always been doing it, but I didn't even know until Morgantown went available.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Peter.
A couple things on that front. First of all, what could we do now to try to broaden the understanding is as someone mentioned, we do get 6 free tickets for each performance at each theater. And so what we could do in our newsletter, we could advertise those, or in our fundraising, we could say the first callers will get 2 tickets or whatever, and give some away, which I think is the basic intention of them in the first place. They always get used. That's not a problem, but we could perhaps get people who say, "Hey, geez, I'd go to that. I got free tickets," who don't go now, and that's one thing we could do. I'm going to try to get in touch. I'm in the process of getting in touch with the Met because they come through me and have for several years to ask them what exactly we would need to go to a theater. There's another multiplex across the highway in Morgantown who has run summer programs in the past, but didn't do the Met. And so Byron was going to check with them, but I wanted to get the actual details of what they would have to do and what it would cost them, what they would need to break even on that, and then present a little package to them, and try to make an appointment with the manager and see if they would be willing to pick up that slack. So we have not given up, but because it's still the end of one season, you can't do it until the beginning of the next season, which would be in the autumn. So there's still hope there. Although it's not looking great. I would have expected that theater to come on the line on their own, and they haven't. But maybe with a little nudge, they will pick that up.
You used to do that on the radio, advertise the free tickets. I used to get them all the time.
Okay, anybody else? Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you all.